Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. See, I'm not going to explain anything because I have to start from second week onward. So I'll be using this slide just to give you an idea and so that I can explain you from where I'm going to start. Okay? Uh, if you remember, fertilization takes place somewhere here in the most dilated part of the fallopian tube, which is called as ampulla. Full stop. Now, as a result of the fusion between two male and female gametes, we have a new individual, a new life begins from there as a result of fertilization. The new individual is called as zygote. We all know this. Zygote is from zygosis, means fusion, product of fusion. Okay? Now, as soon as the life begins, zygote is formed. It starts dividing, multiplicating, katakat. But this division is initially very slow. Like one cell takes 30 hours to finish its first mitotic division. As a result, we get two cells. This is called as two-cell stage. We all have gone through this, no problem. Then these two cells, they divide, they become four. But one thing which we all miss, you as a student and we as a teacher, is that these two cells, they do not become four like this. One cell completes its division first. So there are three cell stage, there is a three cell stage before the other cell completes its division. So we have a four cell stage. I hope you got the message. So the division is not like this. There is nothing, something like knife cutting the two cells, dividing into two. So even at this stage, some phenomena is there that the cells are, although they are dividing, but they are following each other. It's not like two cell stage, four cell stage, and then 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. No, it's not like this. So there are so many stages in between which no books shows, which no book describes, but you have to understand this. I hope this message is clear. Okay? Now, from 2 it becomes 4, 8, 6, till we get this ball-like structure which is still surrounded by a thick shell which is called as zona pellucida, it is called as morula, and then morula keeps, the ball is rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, and it's here around the 4th day, it enters the uterine cavity from one side. Of course, fertilization takes place in one of the fallopian tubes, if everything is normal. Now, this is approximately day 4. Now, this is the time here, if you see the difference between this and this is that it is still surrounded by zona pellucida, and the zona pellucida, which was a protective shell, the purpose of having zona pellucida till day 4 or maybe 5 was to bring the group of cells which are otherwise very fragile to the uterine cavity. See, subhanallah, embryology is a very interesting subject. Okay, now we have this structure around day 5 in the uterine cavity. Mother even doesn't know. Okay, now this structure is called as blastocyst. Just for your review, blastocyst is a structure. It consists of a group of cells on the inner side. Here it is called as inner cell mass, and then a group of cells surrounding the ball with a cavity. Okay, the cavity is called as blastocyst cavity, or its another name is blastocele. There are sometimes different terms used by different books. So I always say, don't make these things issue. Stick to one reference. Whatever book you are using, it is a reference for you. No need to get confused. Because one is from the America, one is from Australia, one is from UK. So there are different terms used. Please, we as teachers, we can use different resources and we can just combine them and put them together for your reference. But you please don't get confused. Okay? Now, this structure is called as blastocyst with a cavity, inner cell mass, outer cell mass, and if you have good eyes, you see this structure, this is the structure which actually gets attached to the wall of the uterus. Okay? This structure, this is what we ask. What structure actually enters the wall of the uterus? So the pregnancy The growth of the new individual human being does not take place within the cavity. I know you are almost 400 students with so many confusions. Where is the fetus? Where does it grow? How does it grow? So if you need details, you can come to me. I'll explain you in minutes like this. Okay? So it gets attached to the wall. This is all uterus. Now, because I have to give you an idea of the second week of development, only the events. But please try to understand, here there is the application of histology. This is a section, a coronal section of the wall of the uterus, which consists of 3 layers. This surface, there cannot be anything other than epithelium lining the surface of the uterine cavity. Histology is here. And these white spaces are actually the glands which are invaginating. Here the epithelium is invaginating into the connective tissue, and these are the glands. On the surface, if I zoom it in, if I magnify, you will see it's an epithelium. It's simple columnar or pseudo-stratified columnar ciliated epithelium forming glands, and this brown bond between the glands is the connective tissue under the epithelium. So first tissue is always epithelium, second tissue is always connective tissue. These 2 layers are collectively called as endometrium. Still, if it's not clear to you, endometrium is a combination of 2 layers, okay? Then this all is the very thick layer of smooth muscles, which later on they have a very important role to play. And then once again there is the connective tissue layer as a layer number 4. It is called as perimetrium. Now, this blastocyst, it has to enter into this endometrium. It has to find a space. So now, from here, from its attachment to its complete disappearance somewhere here, it takes 1 week. Whatever happens during this journey, from its attachment to its disappearance within this, collectively they are called as the events taking place during the second week of development. I hope you understand. From its attachment, which is the end of the first week, till it's completely embed. This embedding, disappearance, finding a place, finding a bedroom for its growth, this is called as the second week of development. This is what I will be explaining. Any problem here? Okay, now see, my way. It's a gift for you. If you want to enjoy embryology, understand embryology, remember these 6 processes. These are called as processes of life. When I came to know these processes, and then when I applied, I was like this, oh, come on. See, we have to find ways to make things easy for us. Now, this is how I remember by using different positions. The abbreviation that I derived was DMD-DGR in this sequence. Now, DMD, this is how I remember, means Deputy Managing Director. You can have your own, I don't mind, but it has to be in this sequence. And Director General Railways. It came to my mind at that time, I just wrote here. Now, what is the first D? First process of life is division. Now go back to zygote, and what happens after the zygote is formed? What does it do? Divide. The division is by mitosis, we all know. I will not go into that detail that when do cells divide by mitosis and when do they divide by meiosis or meiosis. Okay. So the first process is what? Dividing, which this is my division, my way, katakat. Now they are dividing. You apply it. The second thing they do, when they are dividing, they are increasing in number, they need to find a space, so they start moving in different directions. They migrate, right, left, up, down, front, back. It's becoming a solid ball, then it becomes like a plate-like structure, then it will be converted into a tube, and then the tube will develop head, neck, trunk, and the tail, and like, see, we will have everything. It's because of the migration of the cells. Now, while I use this while, W-H-I-L-E, while they are migrating, some of them die. Because their life was that much. Thank you very much. You were assigned 17 days. You are going to die after 17 days, because if you don't die, the other will suffer. They will not survive. So for the benefit of the others, some of them, they die. So this is beautiful. Those who are good in IT type of things, technology things, it's programmed. And this programming was done at the time of fertilization. When the two gametes, they get fused. So they die. Those which survive, now they will differentiate. It's beautiful. See the sequence of events. Differentiation means they will acquire some final shape. They become muscle cell, bone cell, spleen cell, brain cell, connective tissue cells, epithelial cell. While they are migrating, some of them they die. You remember the development, I just gave you an idea for the development of the glands, if you remember. They invaginate. When they invaginate, it was a solid cord initially. But the cells in the center, they die. Migration was there, then death occurs. As a result, there is a space created. The remaining cells, they differentiate into secreting cells and the duct cells. They become duct, okay? Now, once they differentiate, then they grow. Like they are muscle cell, they grow. And while they are growing, they give us these beautiful shapes. How come we are different from each other? All of us have one nose, two eyes, 2 ears, everything. But all of us are different. This is because of the rearrangement of the cells. Somebody has a nose like this, somebody has a nose like this, somebody has eyes slanting, somebody has beautiful eyes, etc., etc., etc. Some other time. You understand what I'm trying to say? So remember these and apply whenever you study embryology. Next. Now let's start with the implantation. Look at this. These figures are from different resources. Now, what is the problem in embryology? Because I am here not to complete the topic, give you tips. Embryology is a picture story. If you are good at reading or understanding the picture, your embryology is good. So now there are two things, there are two ways. It's an advice, a tip for all of you. Sometimes you will see this picture, it's a drawing basically. I'm not using the term photomicrograph, it's not histology. It's a handmade drawing, okay? You have to see it carefully, read the labels. There are so many explanations in this picture, okay? Sometimes you see a picture without text. Sometimes you will see in references, whatever book you are using, that there is something written with no supporting picture, no supporting diagram. So you have to have your own drawings. You should be able to draw your own rough. There is no competition that who draws good. No. Draw your own. So if you read something, draw it. If you see something, write it. You will be expert in embryology, I'm telling you. I repeat, sometimes you will see drawings, pictures, without any text. Okay? This is the problem with embryology in all books. Sometimes you will read something with no support. Now, because the things are changing so quickly, nobody can give you description of all events. It's like this. Okay? So you have to have your own sequence of events. This is one. And the last point is, because things are changing, like events are occurring at different places simultaneously. For example, I will jump. This is called as the inner cell mass. This is called as the outer cell mass. Some changes taking place in the outer cell mass. Some changes taking place in the inner cell mass. Something is taking place in the wall of the uterus. Nobody can describe, nobody can explain all these changes simultaneously. So you have to focus on these one by one. Another example, most of you, you are fond of watching football. Me too. Am I right? Maybe 26, 30 or out, I don't know how many cameras they use. All these cameras, they are showing us live. The producer has the control. He can see all cameras, but he has to select which has to be shown to us. Am I right? But things are happening simultaneously. I'm just making your mood, how to understand embryology. Simply reading slides, I don't like this. Okay, let's start. End of week 1, start of week 2. This blue is a block segment taken from the wall of the uterus. Let's first identify the wall of the uterus. Can you see the epithelium? Yes? Epithelium is forming glands. Yes. Possibility is that second gland will be here. So this structure, which is called as blastocyst, at the end of the week 1 or by the beginning of week 2, it gets attached to the surface of the endometrium of the uterus. Look at this. This is still called as the inner. See, the names keep on changing. Inner cell mass differentiates into embryoblast. Outer cell mass differentiates into trophoblast. I hope you all know this. Am I right? If I go fast, please stop me because I am continuing with somebody else's. Now see here, these yellow cells, they do khatakat. They multiply. When they multiply, you will see that finger-like processes will come out of these cells. Look at this here. Can you see these finger-like processes? Now these finger-like processes are the cells, are the column-like structures, finger-like processes. They develop by the khatakat, by the mitotic division of the yellow cells. What is the name of yellow cells? They are the cells from trophoblast. Actually, trophoblast, see, every group of cells will keep on dividing and differentiating, dividing and differentiating. So you have to make arrows, like see, this become this become this become this become this. Remember the latest, forget the old one, so that you can continue. It's like this, okay? There are so many things in my mind, I don't know. I wish I can give everything to you, but it's not possible in just 1 hour. Okay, now these finger-like processes, they will move like amoeba, unicellular animal, and they will try to find spaces between the cells, and then they move like this. I'm trying to give you this impression, okay? So this structure is now trying to enter, penetrate into the endometrium, okay? Epithelium is there, glands are there. This is blue, is all connective tissue. These vessels are the vessels of the mother in the connective tissue. We call them as maternal. This is a new individual. Its name is blastocyst. This is the one which is trying to penetrate. Now I will read. Blastocyst floats freely in the uterine secretions for about 2 days. You remember this slide? This. Here it's floating freely, okay? Now, implantation begins on about the 6th day after fertilization. This is approximate. It can start on day 7 or day 8. Okay, so never ever try to indulge yourself into this argument that one book says 6 day, one book says 7 day. It is just to give you an idea. Now, first change, trophoblast. Proliferate rapidly, and at the embryonic pole, you can ask me, Dr. Zafar, sir, what is this embryonic pole? Look at this. It's a ball-like structure. 3D picture. Which side of the ball has the embryoblast, the blue cell? This side. What about this side? No embryo. So if embryo will develop, it will develop on this side. So this side, the head side of the blastocyst is called as embryonic pole. The opposite is called as what? Ab. This is embryology. So embryology has its own terminology. Do not compare it with histology or any other. Okay, so this pole of the blastocyst is called as embryonic. This is called as embryonic, away from the embryo. Now, most of the changes will take place here near the embryonic pole. I'm going to give you a very important fact. Look at this. This is all trophoblast, yellow color. But this trophoblast is close to the embryoblast. So if it starts dividing and differentiating, it will start from here. Later on, the proliferation and differentiation will proceed to the abembryonic pole. So when the fetus is developing, head develops first, then neck, then trunk, then maybe the thorax, then abdomen. The sequence is like this, and the decision takes place here at the very beginning of the life. Because structures close to the embryonic pole will differentiate before the structures at the abembryonic pole. Now, trophoblast differentiates into 2 layers. One is called as cytotrophoblast, other is called as in situ. I will show you. Here, in this, the yellow is still yellow, but this is slight, I don't know what color, for me it's like slight brown or whatever color. You can see 2 colors. These finger-like processes, it's an outer layer. This is in situ trophoblast. The yellow, which is still yellow, it is the cytotrophoblast. Both of these are the differentiated forms from trophoblast. Okay, let's proceed. Beautiful. Normally I used to invite students, stand here, and then I demonstrate how to, beautiful, blastocyst. See, inner cell mass later on differentiates into embryoblast. This is all outer cell mass, later on differentiates into trophoblast. This is the blastocele or blastocyst cavity. How beautifully here it's shown. Look at this. Embryoblast is still there. This is the cytotrophoblast, and the finger-like processes are syncytial trophoblast. And see how these finger-like processes are trying to displace the columnar cells of the epithelium and trying to move deeper into the endometrium. Another, look at this. First identify, always they start like this. Where is the epithelium? There is the epithelium, okay. Where are the glands? This is the gland. This is all connective tissue. These are maternal blood vessels, yes. Now this is our structure. Can I say it's now partially embedded into the endometrium? Okay, good, thank you very much. See this light green color cells which are like a ring. This is the inner layer of the trophoblast called as cytotrophoblast, and all these multinucleated, which appears as like all cells have merged together and have lost their plasma membranes. So it has become like a multinucleated structure, which is like a gel-like structure, and it is the one which is helping the blastocyst to implant. You can see it, okay? So now identify, don't do anything. This is the cytotrophoblast, this is syncytial trophoblast. Now this is the connective tissue of the endometrium of the mother. On one side we have one gland, on the other side we have one gland. So if I mention somewhere in my notes that the implantation takes place between two glands, believe you me, this picture will help you to understand. Yes, Dr. Zafar did show us between the two glands there is a space. This is where the blastocyst enters. Okay. See, it's like amoeba, remember. It's moving like this. All the time fingers are coming out of it. It's approaching, it's approaching, it's approaching, and it's a round ball-like structure. Now, when the trophoblast differentiates into two layers, inner and outer, I'll take you back. I'll show you this embryoblast. Embryoblast cells were looking up like this. Okay, you finish first. The trophoblast, you finish first, and then what they do, look at this now. Can you see two colors here? Blue and yellow. All these collectively are embryoblast. Now, camera 2, focus on embryoblast. Embryoblastic cells do khatakat. And it was like a solid ball of cells. They form two layers, an upper layer and a lower layer. But for us, how to then mention it, how to show, how to explain, how to depict, like see, we have given two colors. The upper layer of cells is blue, the lower layer of cells is yellow. Both are the differentiated forms from the embryoblast. The upper layer is called as epiblast. The lower layer is called as what? Hypoblast. So now we have two layers. And they are present in the form of two layers, one over another. It's a section. It's a drawing. You have to make your own. It's like a disc. This is embryo. Now it is present in the form of two layers, epiblast and hypoblast, with no space initially. I don't have any picture. See my limitations. So you have to make your own picture. So initially, the blue colored cells are in contact with light green with no such space, which is shown here, which is labeled here. So there is a stage before that. What is that stage? Embryoblast differentiates into two. Upper epiblast, lower hypoblast. Is that clear? So no more embryoblast. Differentiated into epi and hypo. Forget the embryoblast. Now, what will happen as the development and the implantation continues? Today I forgot to bring my water. No problem. Now a space appeared. These cells which were touching the epiblast, they were touching the roof like this. They become like this. From flat, they become concave like this. The moment they become like this, there is a space created here. This is going to be a new cavity. This new cavity, it appears where? Above the epiblast. Agreed. Where? Below the cytotrophoblast. Yes, agreed. So, see, your focus has to be, my emphasis is not on explaining, not on reading, not the fact. Somehow develop the skill. If you read something, full stop. See, is there any supporting drawing that can prove it, that can show the same? If yes, say thank you. If not, you can draw your own. Right? Exactly. Thank you very much. I can catch. Jazakallah. Daughters are daughters. And sons are, of course, sons. So I'm lucky to have children like you. See? Thank you very much. This is one of the complications that I am suffering from. Alhamdulillah. Don't forget to pray for me. Now, see, first the embryoblast differentiates into epi and hypo. A cavity appears. Now, this newly appearing cavity, it appears between epiblast and cytotrophoblast. Okay? And this yellow is called as hypo. Full stop. These are the changes which can be observed. Now I will show the same here. Look at this same epithelium. It is partially embedded. This is in situ trophoblast. The yellow is still cytotrophoblast. This is the embryonic pole. This is the abembryonic pole. Now you see the blue is epiblast. The yellow is hypoblast. I can see a cavity here. Now, this cavity you can do this exercise to any surface of table or anything. Just touch your hand like this so that you can have this impression, the concavity. Okay. Now this concavity is actually a disc which is lined by epiblast. If you have good eyes, look at this here. Can you see the blue cells here underneath the yellow? Yes or no? Now try to understand. When the epiblast cells were here, they start dividing khatakat, 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 and the newly formed cells start moving like this, and they line the inner side of cytotrophoblast. See, try to understand my explanation. Initially, there were no cells separating the epiblast from this cytotrophoblast, but with the khatakat, they move like this. Jazakallah. I'm not that thirsty, my dear. I will open a shop today. So 2 riyals, 2 riyals, and if in an expensive restaurant, maybe 10 riyals each. Now water is very expensive. Okay, thank you, Jazakallah. So you understand what I'm saying? Now these newly formed cells, dividing, migration, they move, and see now they are separating the epiblast from the cytotrophoblast. This newly formed cavity is called as amniotic cavity. Later on it is called as amnion. And what cells forms its floor? They are the epiblast. What cells form its roof? These newly formed cells which have their origin from the epiblast are called as amnioblast. New terms. I repeat. See, epiblast, yes. Khatakat give origin to new cells, and they line their own cavity. So they are called as amnioblast, and they push the cytotrophoblast up. So our camera is here. Now see, beautiful. My way. What is the name of the layer under the epiblast? It is hypoplastic cells. Here they are only yellow. It's single layer. See, one layer. Now they were looking up, and they were hearing this disturbing noise. Khatakat, khatakat, khatakat. When they see, when they notice, when they observe that a new cavity has been created, formed, developed, which is called as amniotic cavity. So these hypoplastic cells, they also start doing khatakat. Now when they divide, they have no place but to go down all around, and see beautifully. Look at this. Can you see the new layer of yellow colored cells here on the inner side of the cytotrophoblast? Yes or no? Now what is the origin of these cells? Hypoblast. So this cavity which was here is still the blastocele or blastocyst. Now we give it a new name. This newly formed cavity, which is actually the same, everything remains the same, but we keep on giving them different names. This cavity is called as primary yolk sac, primitive yolk sac, or primary vesicle, something like this. Commonly called as primary yolk sac. So no more blastocele. Blastocele is finished. This is called as the primary yolk sac or exocoelomic cavity because there are different references. Now I will read so that you understand. You see, picture speaks itself. So if you are good at understanding the picture, your concept of embryology will be good. Now, blastocyst partially embedded. Trophoblast has differentiated into cyto and syncytio, okay. Mitotic figures are in the cytotrophoblast. The dividing layer is cyto. Embryoblast differentiates into hypo and epiblast. It's called as bilaminar germ. See, it's so boring for me to read, believe you me, if I don't explain. Now, amniotic cavity appears within, with its roof and floor. So I ask these questions. What cells from the floor? What cells from the roof? What is the origin of these cells? It's all in the picture. Endometrial stroma. Now this stroma, endometrial connective tissue, basically endometrium has to play a very important role because a new individual is coming, a guest. In fact, it's a chief guest is coming to reside in the connective tissue of the uterus. So it prepares for its guest. And what is its preparation? I repeat, endometrium, I defined that it consists of two layers, epithelium and connective tissue, with glands and blood vessels, okay? It is the endometrium which provides a space for the new individual to come, reside, develop for maybe 9 to 10 months. Is that clear? So it prepares. What is the preparation of the endometrium for the guest? Very simple. These glands, they secrete glycogen, which is stored here in the connective tissue. These blood vessels, they increase in number, and there is oozing of plasma takes place out of these blood vessels. So it becomes a watery, loose edematous. So it's like a dry sponge or a wet sponge. Which one easy for implantation, a dry one or the wet one? See, so this endometrium becomes wet, moist, edematous because of the secretion. So why glycogen? So that the initial requirements can be fulfilled for the new individual because there is no other source. Why so many blood vessels? Because, see, you understand? So all these, endometrial stroma is edematous and highly vascular. The large tortuous gland secretes abundant glycogen in mucus. Look at this term, I will ask this. The endometrial changes resulting from the adaptation of these tissues in preparation for implantation are collectively called as decidual reaction. Decidua is the name given to this layer of the endometrium of the uterus, full stop. No need to get confused. Because I think it's recording. Faisal, am I right? Faisal is recording. So I'm defining again. Decidual reaction is the response of the connective tissue of the endometrium of the uterus to facilitate the implantation. At all these changes collectively are called as the decidual reaction. Now quickly. Now these days are once again approximately, please, so that you maintain your sequence. Now quickly. Amniotic cavity is there, amnioblasts are there, epiblast is there, hypoblast is there. Now see, cytotrophoblast, always do this exercise. Cytotrophoblast is there with more cells. Now what can be seen here? In the syncytium, see, two things can be seen here. In the syncytotrophoblast, see, it's now surrounding almost whole of the structure. Before it was only near the embryonic pore. You see some empty spaces appear within the syncytium. This is number one. And a yellow color layer now appears between this membrane and the cytotrophoblast. Okay, now I'll explain. Blastocyst more deeply embedded, no problem. Penetration defect in the surface epithelium is closed by a fibrin coagulum. Look at this. It is the site, it is the point from which it entered the endometrium gradually, like see, coagulum means a clot that heals our wound. At the embryonic pole, vacuoles, these white spaces are called as vacuoles in the syncytium. They get fused. These two will become one. These two will fuse with this. They will become this. And then you will see that all around this structure, there will be a huge cavity. A new cavity is going to appear. Okay? Where? Here, by the fusion of these spaces, this stage of development where you can see the lacuna spaces is called as lacunar stage of development. Important thing is what? In this diagram, look at this. These syncytial, the finger-like processes are trying to approach the blood vessels, and a time comes when some of them, they will eat some of the blood vessels. The moment they will eat, the wall of the blood vessels, the blood of the mother start entering into these spaces. Now these spaces belong to mother or the fetus or the developing individual. The new individual. The blood is from the mother. And these spaces belong to the new individual. I am not naming it, okay? A new system of circulation will be established, which is called as uteroplacental circulation. It's beautiful, okay? Now this new membrane, this simple squamous epithelium which lines the primary yolk sac is called as the Husser's membrane. Naming is easy. It's called as Husser's or exocoelomic membrane. It originates from hypoblast, a new cavity called exocoelomic cavity. This I already explained. Now, see, further progress. Blue, epiblast, easy. Cavity is amniotic, amnioblast, hypoblast. The yellow cavity is the Husser's membrane. Now this all red or orange, this all orange. It's a new layer. Where was this layer? Look at this here, different colors. Can you see this yellow color here? Now light blue color here, all around, and it's all solid with no spaces. These are new cells. These new cells, they have their origin from the Husser's membrane, from the hypoblast, from the epiblast, but they separate this whole structure from the cytotrophoblast. So everything is pushing cytotrophoblast like this. This new layer of cells, which has its multiple origin, this is called as mesoderm. You will say, how come mesoderm here? This mesoderm is not the part of the embryo. Embryo is here, two layers. It's outside the embryo. So this layer, which is a new layer, which once again produced by the khatagat, migration, pushing, differentiation, the same 6 processes you have to apply. This is called as extra-embryonic mesoderm. Extra-embryonic mesoderm. Now this is all extra-embryonic mesoderm. As soon as extra-embryonic mesoderm appears, spaces start appearing within the mesoderm like this. These are all spaces. So even the mesoderm now is dividing into an inner layer and an outer layer. This is the inner layer and this is the outer layer. And see, this is how cavity is, a new cavity is created, formed. This new cavity, which will be, it will become once after the fusion of all these spaces. How many cavities do we have so far? What is the name of this cavity? What is the name of this cavity? Primary yolk sac. What cells line or what membranes line the primary yolk sac? Husser's membrane. What cells form the roof of the primary yolk sac? Now, this is amniotic cavity. All this structure was surrounded by mesoderm. Next step, spaces appear within the mesoderm. These spaces join together to form a large cavity. This is third cavity. This is called as chorionic cavity. What cavity? Chorionic cavity. Gradually, you see, the problem, it becomes easy after you know all these. Then it will start assuming the shape of like a human being. So we have amniotic cavity, we have primary yolk sac. Outside the primary yolk sac and the amniotic cavity, we have this called as chorionic cavity. Now these two layers of mesoderm, this is inner. Inner, only the inner which surround the yolk sac, it has a different name, but the outer which surround the whole structure, which surround the amniotic cavity, it has a different name. I will give you the name. But at the same time, cytotrophoblast is becoming like finger. You can see the blood starts floating into those lacunae of the syncytium. Like I will read, blastocyst is completely embedded in the endometrium and produces a slight bulge if you see from inside. Lacunae form intercommunicating system which is more evident at the embryonic pole, reason I have given. Syncytiotrophoblasts penetrate deeper and erode maternal sinusoids. A new system of circulation starts, which is called as what? Uteroplacental. See, it's very difficult. I'm a slow teacher, remember. I need time, but I'm just trying to help you. Okay. See, all same structures. You will not see anything new except what I have explained. So in the meantime, extra-embryonic mesoderm appears, this purple or light blue, okay? Read carefully, between what and what? Between cytotrophoblast externally and amnion and Husser's membrane internally. Read carefully and then confirm here in the picture. Origin of this mesoderm is probably from yolk sacs, hypoblast and epiblast. I did mention. Cavities appear within this extraembryonic mesoderm, the same lacunae. They fuse, okay, and form a new cavity called chorionic cavity. Now, this cavity surrounds, this newly formed cavity surrounds the primitive yolk and amniotic cavity, except only one point with which the structure is hanging into the chorionic cavity is called as connecting stalk. I will show you. Look at this, the same. From different references, species appear in the mesoderm. They will fuse together so that they can provide us with one cavity. Now, the inner layer, this is called as the splanchnic visceral mesoderm. Only this mesoderm. Only the one which is surrounding the primary yolk sac is called as visceral. All other mesoderm anywhere is called as the somatic. They will form body walls later on. Later on. Now let me show you. Look at this. It's becoming now clear. Name this cavity. This cavity. It was primary. Now can you see a cavity, a huge cavity outside? This is the chorionic cavity. So let's first make the concept of cavities clear. Then you see this mesoderm. This is all somatic mesoderm, and this mesoderm which is around the yolk sac is called as the visceral mesoderm. Easy name. This mesoderm, and this is the only connection between the two layers of the mesoderm. Later on it will become the umbilical cord. This structure will become the placenta. All of this will become the developing individual, and it will be like, see, you know the shape of the developing fetus. It will be floating freely in this cavity. So identifying all these layers is important. So day 13, the surface defect is usually healed. Now there is a confusion. Occasionally bleeding occurs at the implantation site. I will explain this. As a result of increased blood flow into the lacunar space, there is a confusion. I'll come to this. Let me finish. Okay. Last thing. Look at this. This is primary yolk sac. Okay? This is primary yolk sac. This cavity is going to be the chorionic cavity, right? You do one thing with your fingers and thumb, or with your both hands, you try to introduce both your hands like this into the chorionic cavity and try to feel the primary yolk sac. Just try to understand this, you will understand what I am going to explain. Can you do like this? Somehow, yes, feel, yes. We are holding what? The primary yolk sac. And now, like as if you are holding somebody's neck, and try to squeeze. Take a balloon, hold it like this, it will be divided into how many parts? Upper end. A balloon has a cavity or not? Divided like this. So you do like this. What I am trying to explain, actually what happens, this is how, somehow, this primary yolk sac, something comes from outside, and so from one cavity, we will have how many cavities? Two. I will show you in the picture, and then you will understand. Look at this. Now, can you see a cavity above and a cavity below? This is chorionic cavity, same. We were our hands in the cavity, and what we have done? Upper cavity. Now, upper cavity will persist because it is in continuation with all other structures. So the primary yolk sac will change its name. Now it is called as the secondary yolk sac. This is the definitive yolk sac. This is the actual yolk sac which will persist till the end of the this prenatal development. And this small, they will remain here in this cavity. They are called as exocoelomic cysts. They are vestigial remnants. With the increase in the size of this structure, they will be compressed and they will degenerate. So primary becomes what? Secondary. This is how. So secondary yolk sac or definitive yolk sac is formed. I have written here, explained. I have just given you an example. So this picture and this picture, beautiful explanation is given. Look at this here. Even the arrows are showing how primary yolk sac is changed into secondary. Okay. Now exocoelomic cysts are the cysts here. Chorionic plate. Let me show you chorionic plate. Now look at this. This is somatic mesoderm and this is cytotrophoblast. Together these two layers are called as chorionic plate, because for you it will be difficult to understand when you will read. I repeat, the somatic mesoderm on the inner side of cytotrophoblast and the cytotrophoblast itself, they form a thick plate. It is called as a chorionic plate. So I think I've just given you an idea. I want to restrict myself. Now, only one thing, what did I want to explain? I forgot. Regarding? I forgot. Somebody. Yes, anybody? Confusion. See, I'm old. Actually, look at this here. This is the endometrium, epithelium. Okay? And it's important for all of you, especially my daughters. Okay? See what happens. What day is this? 10 to 12. And you know how do we calculate the days? After fertilization. After what? And fertilization takes place near the mid-cycle, middle of the cycle. So 14 days, if it's a 28-day cycle, suppose, bookish. So midday is around 1450. So fertilization has taken place. After the fertilization, the structure is moving and it comes into the uterus. Implantation takes place around day 12 or 13. See where I have written this. Confusion? It's here. What is this day? So 14 plus 13, it becomes what? 20? 27. Now look at this. This much growth has taken place. The blood of the mother has started circulating into all the lacunary spaces of the blastocyst. You understand my point? So there is blood inside. And this is the wound. This was the point from where it entered. It's still weak. Now sometimes what happens, mother doesn't know that she has become pregnant. Okay? So she is performing her normal activities, everything is normal, alhamdulillah, normal, without knowing anything. And then what happens? Maybe due to some physical activity, the wound opens. The wound opens and small amount of blood comes out and it comes as a bleeding, which is called as spotting. Am I right? What day is it? And this is the time when normally the women, the females, they expect the start of a new cycle. So they get confused. Nothing happened. So let's continue the normal life. This is the confusion. You understand my point? I don't want to go into the details, but I think message conveyed. Is it very clear? So what happens in the normal life is very important. With patients is very important, but this basic knowledge of important things is extremely important. Last slide and then I stop. It is the summary of the second week of development, and then sometimes what happens, implantation which normally occurs, we know either the posterior wall or the anterior wall of the uterus. This is all, maybe Dr. Junaid has explained, the anterior or the posterior wall because they are the thickest. Sometimes the implantation occurs at abnormal sites. Okay, this is simple slide. It can be, abnormal site can be within the uterus, outside the uterus. So some sites with the diagram with percentages are mentioned. No explanation is required. No signs, symptoms, whether it will continue, not continue, how to detect. Just the sites. As long as you know the sites, good for us. If there is any question, please ask, then I'll stop. I don't know. What did I do? Was it better? Some concept of embryology, like, did you understand or no? But still my offer is valid, and now it's, what day is today? Tuesday. Maybe one more day. After that, offer will be expired. Okay? Yes, please. Any question? A good question? What is the system of asking questions? You're using mic or what? The offer is, anybody can come to me for anything you want. It's an open offer. I can extend provided if there are requests. But it's up to you. If you need any help, any guidance, any support, you are most welcome. So I think we better stop here. Faisal,